Coming up on this Wednesday edition of Morning Drive. On the eve of the Tour Championship, how are the frontrunners preparing for Eastlake?
It's a great golf course. It's in perfect shape like it was last year.
I'm right where I want to be. I feel like the game's in good form.
I understand those guys are going to be there, and therefore I have to beat them.
We'll break down the field of 30 as we take you inside their practice routines on the range all morning long. And after his statement win at the BMW Championship, Mark Leishman is up to number 4 in the FedEx Cup rankings. He'll join us live and tell us how he held off several major champions.
Thought if I kept trying to make birdies without trying to do anything stupid, that hopefully it'd be enough to hold him off.
Plus, our travel expert will take you on a trip out west from a classic car show to a youth program making waves.
Girls like it when guys got a little money in their pocket, you know?
Yep.
You finding that to be true?
Not yet.
Give it some time, bud.
Today is Wednesday, September 20th, 2017. Welcome inside Studio AP on this Hump Day edition of Morning Drive. Damon Hack alongside 2008 Masters champ Trevor Immerman. Good morning, pal. How are you?
Morning, Damon. Exciting week of golf ahead of us. Can't wait. It's what we've been waiting for all year.
Absolutely, buddy. We're going to dive into the numbers. A lot of talk about the top 30. We're going to dive into the top 5. Specifically, Carl Robinson is here, and the insider Tim Rose. We're going to bring you some news and nuggets. And yeah, the big timer Charlie Reimer down in the sim. Going to break down the golf swing of number 5 in the FedEx Cup standings, Jon Rahm, because that's what's happening right now. All eyes on Eastlake. The top 30 in the FedEx Cup standings are there, about 5 miles east of downtown Atlanta. And in the top 5, if you win the Tour Championship, you win the FedEx Cup. These 5 players have had huge moments all season long in the major championships, in the WGCs, in Europe, and in Asia, and in these very playoffs, as you see the top 5 right there. So let's get some insight from the men in the top 3 right now.
I was pumped to have the round I had on Sunday a couple days ago, gain some momentum to maintain the number 1 spot. You know, it wasn't secure when I woke up on Sunday, so that was the goal in hand that day. I felt like I got a little bit closer. I was a little off to start the week in my striking, and I've started to kind of get back to the way I feel right now, pretty close to the way I was hitting at the first 2 playoff events, and trying to dial in the putter in the short game as well. So things feel good. If it were a major championship, I'd be very pleased with where things are on a Tuesday. What you were saying in preparation, mainly at this point, it's conserving energy.
I'm also just really happy to be in Atlanta and have just control my own destiny. You know, being here last year, I forget what I was coming into it, but I needed a lot of things to go my way. I remember to have a chance to win the FedEx Cup, but it's a great golf course. It's in perfect shape like it was last year.
I'm in the position that I want to be in the top 5 coming into the Tour Championship, and yeah, you know, feeling good. I feel like the golf game's in good form. You know, had a good practice day today, and the golf course is in really good condition, and it's a golf course that I enjoy playing. You know, I'm right where I want to be. I feel like the game's in good form, so you know, I'm looking forward to this week and contending.
A season of many twists and turns has all come down to this, the FedEx Cup title at stake on Sunday. You see the position of the players who won the FedEx Cup. Of course, last year, Rory McIlroy was not in the top 5. He was number 6. You go all the way back to 2011. Billy Haas, number 25, up and down from the water on the way to winning the FedEx Cup. I tell you what, Trevor, it's interesting. To me, the big 3, you have Jordan Spieth, you have Justin Thomas, and DJ. They've really written the story of this season, but especially the 2 friends. Yeah. You know, they're rivals. We know this. The dynamic, they're going to be paired together starting on Thursday. How will that dynamic play out on the golf course?
It's going to be so interesting to see, because when you look at these players, normally in sports, when you have rivalries, it's so easy for people at home to choose which side of the fence they want to be on, because the athletes generally don't like each other or don't get on or have different parts of their personality. But these guys, you generally and genuinely get a feeling that they care for each other and they're great friends. They grew up together. And, you know, it's going to be so interesting to watch. You know, at times I think the chatter may calm down and they might not be going back and forth that much. But at the end of the week, these guys are going to sit down, have a beer together, and have a good laugh about, you know, what transpired over the week. And whoever won the $10 million, he'll be buying.
No doubt about it. How about number 3, Dustin Johnson? You know, there was a time this year where it looked like he was going to own the entire season. He did win a playoff event in New York, the Northern Trust. Is he back in your mind to where he was in the springtime?
Even though he won a few weeks ago,
yeah,
to me, he's not quite back to that level that he was just before the Masters, just before he had the accident and injured himself. He really was by far and away the best golfer in the world at that point, and now we've got 3 or 4, maybe even 5 guys in there jostling for that position. But, you know, the thing about DJ is he's so supremely talented that at any moment it could just click into gear for him, like we saw at the first playoff event.
Well, one player in great form right now is number 4 in the FedEx Cup standings, Mark Leishman. He will join us later on this Wednesday edition of Morning Drive. Got that big win at the BMW Championship. For more, we send it over to Carr Robinson and the insider, Tim Rosefort.
Yeah, thanks, Damon. Looking forward to talking to Mark later, the insider with us, as you said, and we are going to keep that theme going by taking a closer look at the Leash, who is number 4 on the rankings. He hosted the trophy, the J.K. Wadley Trophy at Conway Farms on Sunday. It was his 3rd PGA Tour win, Rosie, and his 2nd of the season. But an interesting comment came from Jim Bones Mackay in the broadcast on Saturday, saying he is the most underrated player in golf. Do you think that's the case?
Well, maybe among the general public and those who follow the game of golf, but certainly among his peers, that's not the case. As a matter of fact, Jason Day was asked on Sunday if he felt like Leishman was underrated, and he said, underrated in, as if to say, underrated in what? He's a guy, he went on to say, he's a guy I definitely want on my President's Cup team. And Dustin Johnson paid him a compliment yesterday during his news conference, said impressive, but not surprising. And it shouldn't be going forward. He's 15th in the world. He's got 2 high-quality wins at Bay Hill, and then obviously a playoff win, chance to win the FedEx Cup. So I don't think you'll be hearing even the general public saying that, not knowing who this guy is.
The win kind of seemed like a measure of redemption after he failed to close the deal in the previous playoff event at TPC Boston. He is a guy that rarely shows much emotion, but he did do so coming down the stretch on Sunday. What does that tell you?
Well, it tells me that he's got fire in that belly that maybe people don't see. It was kind of interesting that that people who know him were more talking about the fact that he fist pumped after 15th, which we're about to see right now, than honestly the type of golf that he played, which included a 62 throughout the course of that golf tournament. But that's just basically the way he is. He's the type of guy that keeps a lot inside of him. When he blew the tournament a couple weeks ago at the Dell, he told his wife, just give me 10 minutes, I'll be fine. And conversely, when he made that putt at 15, he went over to his caddy and he said he had goosebumps on his arms, hair on the back of his neck was sticking up. So there's a lot inside this guy that he doesn't show, but he's starting to show it now.
Yeah, the loss at Boston cost him a little bit more than 10 minutes to get over, I think, which is a rare occurrence.
That was part of it, too. You know, the fact that he blew that tournament the week before and Rosie was making a run at him, and all these things kind of coagulated there at a point in time that was very pivotal to his career.
As a result of good play all season, he will now be making his 3rd straight appearance in the International President's Cup team next week at Liberty National. What kind of a role do you think he will play, though, within that team room this year?
Well, a huge role. You know, you ask Jordan Spieth and Matt Kuchar if he's underrated, they'll look at you like they're crazy because he beat them both in President's Cup singles, taking both guys down the last hole, winning the last, or whatever they did in the last hole. He won 1 up in both of those matches, got the handshake, got the hat off, got the look in the eyes by 2 high-quality, obviously, United States players.
All right, Rosie, thank you. You'll stick around, share a little bit more with us in the next hour.
Thanks, Carr.
All right, well, let's continue our journey through the top 5, where we find Jon Rahm, who has clinched the 5th spot heading to Eastlake, meaning a Tour Championship win would guarantee him the FedEx Cup. He would also actually have a reasonable chance of picking up the biggest paycheck in golf with a 2nd place finish as well. Our Charlie Reimer calls him a late setter. So let's send it down to the simulator to find out what exactly he means. Good morning.
All right, Cara, thank you very much. Power in the golf swing comes from the release of the hands. And to release the hands, you got to get them set. And there's a lot of different ways to set them. Jon Rahm is pretty unusual in that he doesn't get his hands set until very late in the golf swing. So let's have a little closer look at that. Jon gets the club back. Notice how rigid he is with the left arm. And go ahead and roll this, guys. And he doesn't take a full backswing at all. But notice that he's not really setting those wrists until he gets into the downswing. From this moment right here, boom, did you see that? They don't get set until very, very late. that looks pretty familiar. I know another Spaniard that's a late setter of the golf club, and like John Rahm, very successful, been at it a long time. Check this out. Sergio Garcia and John Rahm synced up. This was with the mid-iron. Neither one of them really getting that club set until that late moment right there. And what they have in common is they're able to hit golf shots. They're able to move it left to right, right to left, hit it high, hit it low. Sergio, over the past 15 years, statistically, you could argue is one of the top ball strikers in the game. Now, I'm not saying this is the way to do it, because there's certainly other ways to do it as well. I think sort of, to me, the traditional golf swing of getting the hand set at the top of the swing is maybe a Greg Norman. Greg would sort of drag the butt back, get a lot of extension, and then the hands are fully set right here at the top of the golf swing. At the other end of the spectrum, Masters champion Danny Willett, if you watch Danny, he gets a hand set almost immediately. And if you look at John Rahm and Sergio Garcia, they have this movement going on, straight back and then set here. Boom, set here. See if we can do a couple of these. And from that position, you can hit a little turnover like I did there, or you can try and hold that toe a little bit. And let's see if we can move it the other way. Hit it left to right, right to left, on demand. You got to figure out where to set your hands, because you absolutely have to release them. Chantel, down to you. And are you a late setter or an early setter?
Late setter, for sure. And I'm going to be working on that with you later, Joey. Thanks so much. Well, this is an action-packed show, so let's give you a look at the tee sheet for a preview. We're taking you inside the ropes as players prepare for the season finale in the Tour Championship. Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, and the rest of the top 30 about to battle it out for the FedEx Cup trophy. Plus, a look at youth golf getting a boost in a road trip in California. We see how one organization is making it cheaper and easier for kids to play the game and grow their passion for golf. And a very touching ceremony last night in Atlanta, where Payne Stewart's legacy to golf and beyond was honored, with Stewart Cink receiving the prestigious award for charity work and character. We'll show you special moments from the evening. Morning Drive is rolling on. We've got a full cast here today. We're taking you inside the ropes at East Lake. Plenty more on the show. Grab a cup of coffee. Keep it here.